So as we move out, and it's just me and R18 Delta, the medic, who there's helmet cam footage. If you Google Chuck Ritter shot, it'll pop up. It's his perspective, but it's me, him, and this other CRD guy, which is a chemical guy, and the rest are just Afghans. So we go around this corner. I'm always in the front in that kind of thing because it'd be stupid to have the medic in the front, right? As we go into this little L-shaped courtyard, all these trees, huge ambush. This Afghan that's in front of me, he gets shot. His fingers get shot off. He gets shot through the leg. And I'm right at this corner, so I'm returning fire, but there's so much fire coming, I just duck back a little bit. All the other Afghans leave. So it's just me up in this corner. And every time I'm trying to engage, it's just a massive amount of fire coming in. Multiple machine guns. So I can see this guy, but I can't get to him. And it happened to be at the perfect time to where most of our aircraft were off station refueling. We had a couple ISR platforms and we had 2 Apaches on station. Everything else was off station. Shit, we gotta let's get some Afghans back up here, right? So I can't just go out there and fight
Rambo style
this thing, right? So we need to get some fire down. I was like, they want to use rockets because it's too close. Like we need at least some 30 mic, which well within the minimum safe distance, at least on the periphery, at least to keep these guys' heads down so we can grab this Afghan. And so I got the Afghans back. Like, where's the fire? You can hear the medic. He's like, hey, Alpha, where's the fire, right? Turns out that, the first bird came in, tried to do a gun run. His gun wouldn't work. In the video, like one of the videos, like we're talking about the gun's bent. That's just code word for the gun's inoperable. It doesn't mean the actual thing's bent. So both weapon systems didn't work. Well, we have to get this guy. If the Taliban get this Afghan, it's mission over. So it's worth the risk, right? And with combat, it's always about finding acceptable risk. If you just try to mitigate risk, you're always going to find yourself in a stalemate. You're just not going to win, right? There's no sports that you watch where a team's going to win by just mitigating risk. No, you find acceptable risk. What's worth it so you can actually win the game?
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that most times teams lose if that's their goal is play it conservative. That they end up just getting outdone at the end.
Anything like that. I could argue that one of the reasons why Afghanistan ended the way it is because we're just trying to always mitigate risk and what's acceptable. Like winning takes some risk. You just got to figure out what that is. So the acceptable risk was we have to get this Afghan, and the reality is we're going to get fucked up in the process. Like there's no way we're going to fight out in this. I mean, this is like a 15-meter engagement, and we're going to come out unscathed. It's just not going to happen. So got enough Afghans back, talked to the Deltas like, hey man, like CCP here, right? Be prepared to receive some casualties, and we're going to go do this. So it's me, the Afghan team leader, and 2 other Afghans that fight out into this kill zone. And as we go around this corner, there's 2 guys. There's multiple machine guns. At least 2 machine guns, probably like 3. But then there's multiple other people like in there. It's a pretty sizable force that are bounding textbook style, like very close, probably from me to a little bit past you. End up shooting those 2, and see this Afghan, and we're in this pretty nasty firefight with these people. And we think we kill most of them. We killed 1 machine gun that was kind of to my 1 o'clock. And there's one over here somewhere, and there was a bunch of fire coming from the middle. And we think we've attrited these guys down because luckily they weren't the greatest shots, or we would have been toast. And start dragging this Afghan, and this machine gun started shooting. So I throw a grenade. I think I've killed him with this grenade because he's not shooting anymore. I shot the area. Start dragging the Afghan again. Well, this machine gun opens up on the Afghan platoon leader. So I go to engage this guy, and I'm off. I'm shooting a little bit to the left of where I think he's at. So he transitions to me, and then his first round strikes me in the leg, right here on the side, and knocks me forward into like I'm like a Superman position. And there's this shit ditch where it's where the sewer comes down here. Ended up going into that, but as I'm falling, a round hit me on my upper back here, the shoulder PKM round, and it hit the bone, broke through the artery and the brachial nerve complex, and then lodged in my lower back, and then another one nicked my butt cheek. But I fell in the shit ditch, and if you watch the video, there's poop in my face.
Which is good for a gun wound infection.
Which is great, yeah. But luckily, since I fell into that, the rest of his rounds, it's got a 100-round belt, like hit the wall around me. So I'm like, okay, he's got to reload, and I know where he's at now. I'm going to kill this guy. So I got up, and when I went to go bring my arm up, physically, when I went to go bring it up, it was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And I physically was like, I'm going to force my arm up even through this. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get my arm to actually lift. Like, well, that's bad. So I tried to grab this Afghan with this hand, and the way the wall, this little wall, I just couldn't drag him. I was like, this guy, it's a pretty bad hit. Gotta get around. This other Afghan came back. I'm like, grab this dude. Let's get out of here while this dude's reloading. And then if you look at the helmet cam footage, you can see me come around the corner and.
Is Chuck good? Zulu, you good? I'm hit. Hey, Zulu's hit.
Dan's like, are you good? I'm like, I'm hit, and take it off, and then hitting the back, and I actually bled out from that, and I crashed on the operating table a couple times when I got to the military hospital there.
So you took 3 PKM rounds? The one in the leg didn't immobilize your ability to walk?
Oh, it's still jacked up. My knee hurts.
I mean,
to
but
this day.
on the spot, like you could still walk on
I
it?
can still walk on it. Yeah,
Wow.
it wouldn't. In fact, in the video you can see like, hey Dan, I think I'm hitting the leg. He's like, I can't find it. And when we got back to the CCP, we had an Air Force PJ there too, and then they're like, no, it just didn't bleed that much at first. It did a lot of damage to the tendons, and actually jacked up my knee quite a bit. But just wasn't. It looked like a very superficial wound.
Was it through and through?
Yeah, it probably it didn't go in very far. It's the kinetic energy is like what
Yeah.
really did all the damage there.
Dude, that's fucking intense, man. A few questions, I guess. When you were first alerted that that this massive force is coming up on your south, were you not able, whether it's ROE wise or there weren't guns available, to call in air at that point?
We'd hit him with a Hellfire, but you couldn't see them. Like you didn't know where they were. Like you'd catch a glimpse of them when they were, kind of popped in an area where you could see them. So it's just a matter of you didn't have visibility, right? So with a row, you can't just hit them. And luckily, it was right when we had the first pressurized AC-130s. We had whatever the model was that had the 30 mic and the Griffins. I think they're the ones that saw them before they went off station, or maybe it was an ISR platform. But it's just one of those things you couldn't keep up. You knew that they were somewhere down here, but you didn't know where they were. That's why we didn't know that they were set up in an ambush right there.
Yeah, man. When you initially got hit, was the adrenaline at a point where you didn't feel a lot of pain other than just trying to move your arm when it wouldn't work?
Oh, it felt all the pain. In fact, if you watch the helmet cam footage, and when I'm just sitting there kind of moving, and I'm like, man, hit me with some morphine, right? Because we would take, and 5 milligrams of morphine is not going to do much damage. It doesn't do anything. I'm convinced it doesn't do anything for the pain. But yeah, it redefined my definition of pain, actually.
Wow.
I knew it was bad. Like, I have a high pain tolerance anyway, and I was like, man, this is a pretty bad hit.